Try again, try again. Go
It's
ahead.
off.
Yeah, I know. It says live streaming isn't available. Don't say finish because then the stream's dead. Or turn on the Wi-Fi even.
Yeah, what's it like back there?
Nothing.
What is it doing?
Nothing.
Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to Birds and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And live on Saturday mornings, we play with our strength at the weekend workout, inviting you to do the same. But maybe before that, like, subscribe, share, but let's most importantly have fun and stay strong together. We're working on some foot balances today, some wrist stretches and strength tips as well that culminate in crawls and ultimately the handstand.
All you need is your body.
That's it.
Let's get started.
Let's do it with the feet first. At the feet, have them in parallel. Open up those toes, pull up the kneecaps, clench your glutes. Then find the balls of the feet, those metatarsal heads, and then as allowed, based on the crampiness factor, get to the toe tip. And then as allowed, flex over the toes. Then go back to the toes. Let's find both sets of those metatarsal heads, and then a flat foot on the one and the demi or lunge foot on the other. Then go to the toe point, and then easy effort on the over, back to those balls of feet, up to 2 points, switch, and just do that one more time as you point the toe, allowing it to flex over, cramp the arch, stretch the top of the foot, and then back to the balls of feet, a weight transfer, a flat foot, a ball of foot series on the other. We'll roll over and then back. Let's just find 2 footed balances here, pulling up the kneecaps, squeezing those glutes, keeping the rib cage over the hips, and then slowly return to the floor. From there, we'll bend our knees, and this might start looking like that title slide in that sissy squat, and we'll press those hips through to tall. Repeat for 2 more, pull the feet behind you to soften the ankles in the front, and then extend those hips through, finishing tall. Repeat one more time, but let's just stay low. So now, as if that ceiling has encroached on our headspace, stay nice and low and find that same rise on the balls of feet. And with control, return the flat feet to the ground. And for 2 more repetitions, balls of feet, heels lift, then heels slowly connect back down. We want to feel the musculature of those knees and calves burn, but not feeling any discomfort in those knees. So let's extend those hips through, finish tall, shake it out. We'll return to those movements in a second, but one more movement for me at that head neck that might actually blend into the rib cage as well. So 2 moves here. At the head neck, we'll go extension. Hands could be behind the back or at the sides, and that extension means looking up towards the ceiling. Then flexion or down is chin towards the top of the sternum. And repeat one more time, extension looking up, and then flexion, looking down. Return to the middle of those 2 ranges, looking straight ahead. Now, as you do this next movement, the head might move, but the neck moves very little. As we go ear to shoulder, breathe as well. Return to the middle, repeat again, ear to shoulder. Through the center, we'll repeat one more time each side, just a quick set of 2s as we check in. And again, guiding premise here, the head can move, but try to avoid moving the neck. Rotations, it's the same thing. Head or the nose will track towards over the shoulder, and then looking through center, repeat to the other side. Keep your breath, keep the shoulders lightly back. As Lauren's showing there, the body and the hands in particular are staying in the same place. And it's just exclusively that head neck that's moving from one side to the other. Finish in the middle, Let's just do those same actions at the rib cage. For that, I do like my hands tight to the body across with those shoulder blades that squeeze together. So first, we did our flexion forward and then up. And as we go up, think up versus backwards. Repeat that again as we flex down and then up, pulling the rib cage down to engage the core. Then repeat the same action as we do our sideways bend. And you have so many analogies here, like a ball bearing, like pouring a teapot, like rolling a ball in a cup. But in this case, the rib cage is staying over the hips, avoiding the big lean. Stay compact over your base of support. Lastly, it's the rotation. And right now, let's move that the shoulders and the head move as a team back together. So the center of our sternum or chest and the head is the same position and center. And for one more time, keep the head forward and rotate the torso. And repeat that just once more time to the other side. Return center. Add those shakes and wiggles in the middle. Check in with those things like the feet, like the rib cage, the head, neck, and other things that Lauren will share with us now.
We'll get to the floor and warm up those wrists because they are going to be an important part of today's practice. So let's get back to that ankle squat where we gently send our knees towards over our toes. And then we'll continue descending and slowly peel the heels up. Then soft landing on those knees, extending the hips, and let's just stay here for a second. We're working on that hip extension so our cheeks are squeezed, but at the same time we're keeping our rib cage down to avoid that sway back. Holding that for a couple more seconds, you might feel some work through the front of those quads, maintaining that hip extension, and then gently relax. From here, we'll send our hips back and our hands will land on the floor softly. So all fingers down first, and then the palms of the hand accept the floor. Next, we'll check in with those shoulders. So lightly shrug your shoulders up like you're saying, I don't know. And then pull your shoulders down like you're saying, I do know. I don't know. I do know. Now keep those shoulders down. With those elbow pits screwed in and rotated as far forward as you can and nice and straight, let's do one more shoulder blade exploration. We'll pinch the shoulder blades together like we're pinching a pencil, and then we'll push the floor away, dropping the pencil. Repeat 2 more times, pinching the pencil. As you do this, we're thinking it's our shoulder blades moving, not our spine rounding or flexing. Last one, and we'll end somewhere in between there. Now with our elbow pits forward and our fingers still heavy on the floor, let's pull ourselves lightly into some wrist extension. This is an important part for our handstand and our crawling practice, so we're trying to get our shoulders towards over our fingertips, and then we're using our fingers to press ourselves back. One more time, pull yourself forward, keeping those elbows nice and straight, loading some weight through those hands. Use the fingers to press yourself back, and then press so much you flick the floor away and give that a little shake out. We'll do one more wrist move here. We'll come down to those fists. So with nice firm fists, shoulders out of your ears, elbows nice and straight. We'll come down mostly to those first 2 knuckles. Then we'll gently roll over the back of the hand, opening the hand up to face towards the ceiling. Prioritize keeping that shoulder out of your ear and trying to rotate that elbow pit towards the front of the room. Then use strength by pushing into the floor to come back up to that fist. Repeat on the second side. Roll over the back of the hand. Where's your shoulder blade? Is your elbow nice and straight? Are you trying to get those fingers towards the floor? Then push down and back up. One last time each side as we roll over. Breathing into this, probably feeling a lot of the work through the front of that forearm. Last one on the other side. And then we'll push into the floor and press back to those fists. Gently extend the hips back up. Give those wrists a little shake. And we'll come back up to standing. So we'll tuck our toes here. We'll rock ourselves back up. Boom. We'll find the heels because I did. And then we'll press through to tall. Let's warm up those legs quickly with a movement clock, and then we'll come back to our first crawl.
Excellent. For that movement clock, it starts with pulling a single leg up and holding a very temporary balance. Then we'll point that leg forward, land toe ball heel, and feel that pull effort, and then push forward to go back. Stick with that same leg and pull up to the ankle, open to the diagonal, point, land toe ball heel. This leg, the one that didn't move, stays stiff. The one that moves goes through a bending and a straightening series. So it's bent It straightens, it bends, and then straightens. Now, to the back corner. Knee front, knee side. Now keep looking forward as long as you can and turn the body and then land in that corner and then push together. And now keep the knee stable, reach the leg back, extend the knee, then bend the knee in our single leg squat variation there, and then push forward and back to arrive underneath. Repeat the same thing on the other side. To the front, point, it goes from a bent knee to a straight leg, back to a bent knee, to a straight leg, but that leg in the center has been stiff, acting as that base of support. Knee front, knee side and point, and land, toe ball heel, and push. Then the last one to the corners again is front and side. Now keep the head forward as long as you can, and then land to the corner and push, and drag the foot along the ground, straighten with the knee, land with the full foot, sit into that squat, and then press through, connect the knee, and end up nice and tall underneath with our shake and wiggle. Movement clocks from standing, and now things back on the floor.
We'll do 3 crawls today, starting first with our elephant crawl. So let's use our hinge to get there. Hips will gently hinge back, knees will bend, shins will stay fairly vertical. Let's just warm up those hamstrings here by gently tipping the tailbone to the ceiling even more. And then staying here, but lightly tucking under, using those abs to anterior tip the hips or curl that low back. Let's repeat again, slowly tipping the tailbone to the ceiling. I'm sorry, this is the anterior tip. And then this is our posterior tuck as we tuck under. And one last time, we'll end in that tip of the tailbone to the ceiling, and then we'll slowly walk ourselves out. Let's first integrate a plank, and then we'll lift those hips up. So in our plank position, our toes are tucked, our butt cheeks are squeezed, our abs are braced, and we're pulling the floor together underneath of us. Our hips, our shoulders, and our head are a nice straight line. We're breathing and tighten up all of your muscles, hands grip, shoulders packed, butt squeeze, abs brace. Now slowly lift the hips up. You can have a slight bend in knees here. Prioritize that tailbone tip to the ceiling. Maybe try to straighten the knees, but if they need a slight bend, that's okay. Let's take an opposite hand and foot, peeling the hand off the floor and stepping in the forward direction. We're breathing, we're spending a little bit of time on our wrists here. We have some core activation as we brace to try not to wiggle too much from side to side. And then let's go back to where we came from. Again, prioritize that tip to the ceiling, peeling the hands away. We do have elevated shoulders here like we would in our handstand, so they're slightly up in our ears like the I don't know position. Walk those hands back, feet are in line, bend the knees, hips will go back to your hinge, and then gently press yourself through to tall, tall. Shake that out. Stay tuned for crawl number 2.
Hand balances like handstands, and we'll complement that with other balances as well. Just return to that single leg movement clock version, but this time the leg that moves out front stays straight, and the leg that stays put does the bending. A leg out front, and then like an accordion or spring, load up on the squat leg and push the hip through. Then repeat to the other side diagonally, and then hip through. Repeat out to the side, and we'll pause here. Are the hips approaching level? Be able to go that way, be able to go that way, but find that middle position and come home. Stay forward with the hips and shoulders as you reach the leg to the diagonal, and then underneath the hips yet again. And then straight to the back, find truly behind you. It's a very challenging task. And then hips through, remaining tall in the middle. We'll switch. The leg that does the bending stays put. The leg that moves out front stays stiff. And from the front, we'll reach to the diagonal again and push those hips through. A little extra pause here as we take it out to the side. Hike a hip, hike the other hip, maybe 1 or 2 more, and find that position in the middle and arrive together. Then the leg out the back, maintaining level hips as always, underneath, and that same leg, finding that straight midline to the rear, and then extend the hip through. Finish tall, and the shakes and wiggles to help reset.
All right, we're back to the floor. Let's go back to that ankle squat here. So in parallel, the knees will gently go forward. We'll peel the heels up as we slowly descend. The soft landing, the hip extension. Let's sit back on those pointed feet for one time. Oh yeah. And then we'll flip ourselves over to actually end up on our bottom. We'll have our toes facing away from us because it'd be pretty hard to have them facing us. We'll keep our shoulders down out of our ears, and our hands and fingertips will also be facing away. Let's check in with those shoulders. Lightly retract and depress them. With our feet gripping the floor, let's just hover our hips off the floor. Just as we did in that hinge position, lightly tip your tailbone to the wall behind you, and then gently scoop the hips under. Let's do that one more time. It's just the pelvis moving, tipping one way, and then tucking back under. Once we're tucked, let's continue tucking and lifting those hips up into our tabletop-like position or our crab position here. Keep squeezing the cheeks, keep pushing the floor down to lift. Now, starting at the pelvis, start with that anterior tip or tailbone to the back wall, and then slowly the rib cage will follow. Let's put our bum down, shake out those hands, and repeat again. Okay, fingers facing backwards, toes gripping the floor. Push down to hover bottom. Then, starting at the hips, slowly start to scoop under. Once we're at the top here, maybe you stay with 2 feet planted. Or could you extend one leg, avoiding dropping that hip for 3, 2, place it down, switch legs. One leg lifts, no tipping, no twisting. One side might be harder than the other. Let's try it one more time, each leg. Hold and breathe, and down. Last time, reaching long, down. Now at the hips, they'll start to scoop, reaching back behind us. Great. Let's try not to use our hands and flip ourselves back over into that tall kneel. So can you get there without your hands? Toes pointed behind you, sitting down. Then we'll extend the hips through. We'll tuck the toes with or without your hands. Let's stay on our toes this time and press up out of that, holding a light balance, and then control the down. Shake that out. One more crawl to come.
And one more squat to come. At least one more squat. There's probably some more coming up here soon too. Let's start with our feet in that turned out position, and then just open up and land in a comfortable stance. Maybe it's called your sumo stance or just a nice wide squat. We'll work on those dynamic weight transfers here as we pull ourselves down into a squat and just rest or pull those feet back together. Then flick the toe, point, land toe ball heel, and repeat, pulling those legs together. Pick up the foot, point, land, and this time let's just try to find our single base of support, and then point, and land in the middle of those 2 feet and find your balance again. We'll point, we'll land, we'll find the knee this time as allowed, perhaps have that balance aid nearby, and point, and land, and same thing, arrive at that knee. Point, land, we'll do that one more time. Now let's break that level hip rule, and we'll push the hips through as we reach a leg out to the side, and then land, and making sure that you give space between your walls, your apparatus, and your training partner as we straighten out. Land one more time, finish tall. That one more crawl's coming up, Lauren. What is it?
We are going to combine our elephant and crab. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Maybe just watch for a second and then we'll all do it. We'll use our hinge. We'll walk ourselves out to our elephant. We are going to try to flip between our elephant and our crab. If that's not for you, pick one or do a little bit of both. To flip to the crab, we'll reach a leg first. We'll start opening. We'll tip open and we'll end up in our nice crab position. To get back to the elephant, it'll be the hand that leads and then the feet that follow. Oh, it's going to be a great time. So let's get there together.
Let's do it.
Hip hinge. Out to your elephant first. Hands are gripping the floor. Next, we'll take a single leg. It'll reach the ceiling. Try to keep your hips square for a second. Then they'll open up. Hand will leave. Foot will spin. You'll open to your crab. Let's go back to the elephant. Hand, arm leads. Head, shoulders, look. Other foot follows. Little spin. One more time in that direction if you have room. Foot, reach, open up, lift. And then last time this way, hand, and then foot. If you're still feeling good, let's spin ourselves back to where we started. A leg reach, and then an arm opens up into that crab position. A hand, a leg spin, a reach to an elephant. One last time, it starts with the leg. It opens up. End up in that crab. And last time, a hand, a leg. And then slowly walk yourself out of the elephant. Whoa.
Twisty, turny, and time under tension on those wrists.
Two animals you never know had something in common.
Yeah, those hybrid species, you got to watch out. So coming up soon, we'll be doing our handstand kick-up drills. The step in, as well as that tripod kick-up. But before that, let's take a couple extra seconds off the hands and really hone in on that core. Pull up to the single leg balance or that nice low flamingo stance and cramping your glute. Lift your heel by just a little bit that you could slide a piece of paper underneath. And then stack some more pieces of paper underneath and climb up a little bit at a time. Best if we can try to do this in open space, but feel free to use your balance aid as you need. And then if you got up with control, come back down with that same effort of care. Repeat on the other side. Pull up to that single leg. It's the glute that does the work. The calf is working to stabilize, but the hips, glutes are propelling ourselves up to that demi point or ball of the foot rise. Hold for some time and control back down with control. Let's just try that one more time here. Same thing on the other side. Working on hand balances, but those other balances to complement this practice. It's a butt cheek squeeze. It's the ball of foot raise, and those ribs remain over the hips. Hold for time and control back down. This simple skill has taken about 5 years of practice to be able to do it while I talk, and sometimes I fail for sure, but hold, create a simple movement that will help balances in the handstand. At least, I hope I didn't jinx myself out of that for today. So shake it out, and Lauren is her favorite version of the tripod kick up here. So let's just get down and either do it with Lauren or watch Lauren and then perform with me shortly after. So the hands are open, the elbows are straight, all those cues from the warm-up. Lauren's proceeding to do her little baby air here as we look to safely and slowly, those words stick to our practice a lot, as we then climb the ladder because we want to progress, and that hopefully permeates our practice as well. A couple of them celebrate those amazing moments in between with some scissor kicks, and we go I go, you go. So if you're watching, join me.
So first it starts with those hands on the floor, the 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And I would encourage you to do that scissor switch. One, if it's even a baby air, it makes you take it one little Mississippi longer, probably like a part of that Mississippi longer. And it makes you practice taking off with both legs. So try that little scissor switch. You can slowly build your confidence, and as you do, maybe you kick a little bit more and kick a little bit higher. Take your time. Remember to breathe through this activity. That's hard. Whew. And just a couple kick-ups, and then giving your wrists a little bit of a break. And we'll do that again.
That's right. I go, you go. Give yourself a little bit of rest in between sets and maintain that high quality of your practice, maybe not with as many repetitions. So Lauren's hands are white with pressure into the floor, and we said earlier, the shoulder blades shrug. Working on that split is a nice way to create that time under tension and educate those movements in between. Look at those toes. They're pointed, and I recommend we cramp up those feet and point those toes. Reach them to the ceiling.
So if you were just practicing with me, we're taking a little break here while Team Ian does one more set of those kick-ups. A big part of your handstand practice that'll make you better is taking breaks and time off those wrists. It's a lot of work. We want to do a lot, but also a little bit so we can do more another day. Take your time. Use both legs, even though it's hard here and hard here. Feel the grip on the floor, the pushing of the floor away. And we'll come back to more of those in a second or a couple seconds.
And we guess we did tell that little white lie because we're really doing some squats again. Let's pull up that single leg to the ankle where we just were on those balls of feet earlier. But now repeat a single leg squat. That knee goes over toe. Lauren's sideline shows that the best. Then extend the hip over the knee and firmly pull up the glute and the kneecap. Repeat that again. We'll do a set of 3 here as that knee goes over the toe. And then cramp the glutes, extend the hips, finish nice and tall. And repeat one last time, knee over toe. Push the hip through. Hold it, control it, get the toes to touch on the other foot, and use your glutes again to extend the hip through. Repeat for 3 on the other side. Pull up, Either have the knee directly out to the side, or in this case, hide it, so there's no daylight between the knees. We'll do our knee over toe thing, creating tension down low and coming home safe, cramp glutes, kneecaps up. Repeating the descending phase, hanging out for a second longer, and then extending the hip all the way through. And repeating one more time, it's the knee over toe. Push the hip through, create that tension and strength. Then get the toes to touch and continue extending the hips. Cramping cheeks, bracing core, breathing, and relaxing. And now, step in.
Our next entry is that step in. This is Ian's favorite, so he'll go first. With those arms overhead and already position yourself in that hollow shape. So ribs to hips before you even take your step. Next, you'll take a single leg in front, flick the floor away. And again, either trying that scissor kick or doing a couple off one leg and then a couple off the other leg. Remember, we want to land on the floor softly, absorbing the floor as we did in our wrist warm up through the fingers and then the palm of the hands. We have those elevated shoulders to start. And as well, let's think about getting up and over a little fence to enter this handstand versus attacking the floor at that 45-degree angle.
Finish when your form is just clicking just right. It might be a couple reps, maybe add one more if you know you can make it, but practice and practice. Practice patience and practice that consistency to make your handstand just right. Those toes are pointed still. The soft landing is there. You can barely hear that Lauren's doing that if you close your eyes, but I recommend you open your eyes because this is a great example of how you too can progress your handstand in the step-in kick-up.
All right, team Ian, set number 2 here. Another thing to think about that'll help give you practice or give you more strength in that upside down position is how you come out of it. So try to push the floor away as you stand up to get all the way back to that standing position instead of ending up in that kind of folded in half position. Push the floor away. Here we go. Absorb the floor and then soft landing, push the floor away. 1 or 2 more here. Again, check in with wrists, make sure they're still feeling good. You're using the full hands when you contact the floor, and then you're coming all the way back up to that standing position.
So it's like shooting a basketball, finish with the wrist.
You don't have to be good at that to do this, trust me.
Or throwing a baseball, or one joint to the next. So Lauren here is doing that step in again, that second and final time for right now. An awesome tension. Push down to grow up. Elevating the shoulders in a shrug is a good thing in our bodyweight practice here. With our kettlebell, it's armpits down, but handstands, shrug up for strength. And shake it out. Let's go one more squat here, taking our time. Spending time in that quarter squat. So pull up to the ankle and balance. And feel free to stay there if that's for you. Then let's go knee over toe. And now for 3 repetitions, keep the hip forward as you open the knee to the side. And then close to the middle without twisting. Then repeat, out to the side. Hold, keep the hips forward. Close to the midline.
Oh, can we do it faster?
And for one more time, no, we can't do it faster because then we only need to do 3 instead of 300. Take your time and then push yourself through, finishing tall. Toes on the other side touch, glutes or hips extend through. 3 quick repetitions, rather not quick, but 3 efficient repetitions on the other side. Knees over toes, close the midline. Then open that knee to the side, keeping the leg that's pointing to the side, keep that hip forward. And close. And slow and steady, because it's all of our favorite ways to do things, right? Knee side, and then to the front. For the final repetition, we'll open the knee to the side, heavy toes on the balancing leg, and cramp the glute, push through, toes touch, hips finish. A half hour goes pretty quickly here as we practice with our bars, bells, and in this case, our body weight. We have a couple more drills here, Lauren, to finish. What do you think we should do?
I think we have one more drill.
Amazing.
Okay, and that would be, let's put a minute on the clock. And it could be you practice that whole minute, you practice part of that minute, but let's pick a crawl, a plank, a handstand kick up, and try to perform that activity for up to one full minute. Check in with those wrists. This does build that wrist endurance, but make sure it's a safe minute here. Let's go in 5 seconds. Pick your activity in 3-ish, 2 when you're ready.
Nice, keep going. And if you're finished, finish with integrity. Four more seconds.
Oh, that was good. I didn't start right
Nice.
away, but that was like 50 seconds.
So again, hitting that minute, that's that platinum standard. The gold standard is your own standard, so keep safe, keep training, stay persistent, all the fun words you like to follow, right? But hopefully we have fun.
Next week, it all starts again Tuesday with our kettlebell practice, Thursday at our bar, and then
we're on a holiday,
yes.
So it's been an archived episode for the weekend workout thereafter.
Yes. So everything will be posted, though. You'll have lots of routines as we enjoy a little time away. But while we're away, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Check out our website and even our Patreon page. Until next time, take care.
Stay strong.
And we'll train soon.
Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Bye.